Hello friends, we're now in Guangxi province. We left Guangzhou this morning. A few hours of travel and we're in Guangxi. Today is Xingmingzi. It's the 5th of April. Here are the beautiful traditional Guangxi mountains, which can be seen on the 20 yuan bill. However, the mountains on the bill are from behind Guilin. And now we're approaching the city of Wuzhou. The city of Wuzhou still does not have an expressway, so we're making our way through strange, wild, broken roads. Now there are fireworks everywhere. Everything is closed. Here is a plywood factory. In general, it looks so-so. But we're going to Wuzhou for Liubao. We're hoping to get to a couple of villages where they make traditional Liubao. I haven't been there in years. I need to restore everything in my memory and update my contacts, and also look at the province. Maybe we'll find something new. Today we spent all day on the road. Because it's far and the road is bad, we've driven quite fast on the high-speed highway. And then we're driving 100 kilometers for the 3rd hour. The road looks like this. It's a very destroyed concrete road. When I first came here a few years ago, it was just constructed. Now it's fallen into disrepair, and they clearly did not have time to repair it. We're going to investigate. Today is Xingming, so the farmer with whom I spoke, and with whom we ordered Liubao, light Liubao, many remember this light brick, did not answer me. Apparently he's resting on the occasion of Xingming. But we'll see what we can find and collect contacts. We're interested in many things besides the traditional Liubao. We're still interested to see Liubao, which is made by large productions in Wuzhou at tea factories. We're also interested in communicating with other manufacturers, so we'll study the area. We finally got to Liubao Zhen. It's called a zhen, but actually it's just a small village. Zhen is the central village for several villages, and here is just a small village. We stopped by another farmer who has his own micro factory. It's an atmospheric place. Here they have a shop, and here his mother sorts the tea. And here we'll taste the freshest Liubao tea, which was made just now. I already bought this tea a few years ago. It finished pretty quickly. This tea looks like loose tea. It has the youngest sprouts. This tea is similar to Maofeng, but it has a rather specific taste. We'll evaluate it now. It'll be interesting. I haven't drunk it myself for a long time. Since I've been here, I've not ordered it remotely, because such teas always have to be selected personally. I was waiting to get to it again. I'll brew it gently and won't put too much in. Now I'll taste it. At the moment, the owner is simultaneously engaged in production. He's in the process of crushing tea and roasting. The technology is very similar to the production of green tea. It's interesting that the cultivar is different here. Although it's processed in a very similar manner to green tea, it has a different taste. It tastes very similar to Maofeng. has a rich and delicate aroma. The tea is very good. I think it will appeal to those who like fresh green tea. It has a hint of green tea, and in general it's similar to green tea, if you don't know that it's Liubao. It looks like something I've bought before. This tea is much more expensive than Liubao brick, because the bud is not a large lower leaf, as in pressed, but a young bud tea. It's the beginning of April the 5th, Xingming. I think we've decided on the tea. Now let's go to see the factory. We've taken a little tea. The amount here is very small, so I've tasted one basket, taken from it, and we'll send it. There's not much tea here, but maybe we'll cooperate. The batch from one day they have is approximately this amount of tea, because it's a very small farm. And this is how the most primitive Liubao production looks like. This is a micro-village factory. There are many of them, and all production in China looks like this, if it's one farm and a family works there. Here is a roasting machine, and here's a crushing machine. Here is a tray of tea that has gone through the primary stage of crushing. It was crushed after roasting, and then it's drying. This is how Liubao is made here. The production of green tea, this particular one, is no different. This is an interesting story that I mentioned earlier, but I'll tell you again. The name Liubao refers to several sorts of tea, and some of them are just very similar to green tea. Some pressed bricks, tea cakes, and teas processed using a technology similar to heicha. They're both similar to sheng and shupur, and have an even longer history. Initially, the technology came from Hunan province. Now, under the name Liubao, you can find a very different tea. Specifically, here they make the very first and fresh collection. Usually this tea is the highest grade, and then goes to the raw material for the production of bricks and tea cakes. This tea is mainly made in farms. Large-scale production does not work with such tea. Large plants need more raw materials. The basket next to me is at the end of the roasting tube, and tea that has already been roasting is poured in. It pours in at the beginning of the pipe, passes through it, and pours out into the basket. Many other teas are fried in a similar way, including shengpur. These boilers are often used for large volumes, when it's not manual roasting, but more affordable raw materials. The flavour differs before and after twisting. It's more tender there, but here you can still feel a little green. Now we'll taste the Liubao brick. We already had one, but visually I found this one more interesting. Here everyone makes it traditionally, similar in the same shape. But the bricks themselves are different from these guys. Now I'll pour the infusion. Look how dark it is. Yes, the aroma is very good. I think we need it. It's much better than what we had. At the same time, it will most likely be quite budget, friendly in price. It's necessary to choose each brick individually, because they're prone to the formation of mold. When this mold is golden, it's noble, and that one should be there. When it's some other kind of mold, it's not very noble. We removed these bricks, but there were no such bricks here now. I removed the ones that were too wet. It's quite humid here, so I choose the driest bricks, which don't have any problems. The tea is quite specific. It's quite difficult to find and should always be chosen personally. But I really liked it. It tastes much better than what I drank before, and even tastier than the one we had. I think that everyone who asks me about this tea will be very happy about the appearance of this tea. Unfortunately, the amount is not very large. Here is 50 kilos. Each brick weighs half a kilo. We'll take as much as we can. Maybe we'll find some more at another factory. The brick is made from the lower dense leaf. You need to check that the bricks are dry and good in appearance. We also went to a small store. There is a production here too. The girl came here on Xingming and is usually not here. Usually her dad is here. And the store exists in the format of a warehouse. And the girl lives in Wuzhou. We're drinking several sorts of Liubao cha. Now we were drinking a hexagon like this. All the bricks they make are represented in small quantities. Here are just 4 hexagons. And here, too, you can see that there are 5 to 10 bricks of different sorts. Now we're drinking tea, which lies like this in tea cakes. It's made of spring tea. At the factory, they press such spring tea. I was talking about green tea, but in fact I forgot what this tea reminds me of. It reminds me of Sheng. It's similar to Shengpe in technology. I remembered this at the factory when I was looking at the roasting tube. There are 2 types of tea. One tea is pressed like this. There are large buds and a small leaf. Mostly there's an average leaf. The second tea is small. It's made of raw materials that were collected before Xingming. Since the tea is pressed, it opens quite slowly. Now the taste and aroma are coming out, and that's right. She says that they do not collect summer tea because it's tasteless and bitter. This tea is before Xingming, and this one is after. In raw materials, the difference is 3 weeks, and immediately the size of the fractions is different. I'm more interested in age. This tea was pressed more than 10 years ago, and you can see the golden mould. It gives me a very powerful effect. We were on the road all day, about 6 hours, but I still felt the energy of the tea. It's very strong. And when we drank the second one, we realized that it was lighter and softer. It's greener and younger. It's 6 years old. The difference is obvious. You can see even by the infusion. This Liubao is interesting because unlike large factories with large production volumes, it's made in small amounts of up to 10 bricks. And each one is like an artifact. They themselves make wooden shapes in which they press it. This girl's dad makes wooden shapes, and these shapes change every time. It turns out that each brick has its own peculiarity. Small, large, medium-sized bricks in the form of a hexagon or a tea cake. What we're drinking right now is a tea cake. This is the only one they have. We'll have a bit of this exclusive. This is not such a large volume, but such teas are hard to find. This tea is the tea for connoisseurs. We'll have an affordable Liubao from a factory, and we'll also have one of these teas. We have such beauty here. This is tea from 2 or 3 trees. The trees are more than 100 years old, and the price is higher than in Yunnan. Gushu is like sweet sheng. I asked him to get something that looks like this, because I want good tea. Enjoy your tea.